The Somali community is under fire on all fronts in the United States right now. They are feeling what African Americans have been feeling in this country for over 400 years. You know, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them came to this country and they said some very disparaging things about us. They didn't want to identify with our community. A lot of them identified as being Arab. They said disparaging things about us, right? I played the video where the imam said that the majority of us was born to, single moms, and we don't know our fathers, and he just said a whole bunch of crazy stuff and to stay away from us, right? And they tried to ingratiate themselves into the W community up there in Minnesota and all those different places. But now they finding out what racism looks like in America, right? Because I said to you guys before, the Somalis wouldn't be able to come to America and do the fraud that they was doing unless you had some W folks signing off on it. Some W folks getting some kickbacks, right? But this is the thing. This is the American way for a lot of those W folks. Yeah, they do it. But what they can get away with don't mean you can do it. We already know this as FBAs. We know the corruption and the things that they do. And the minute we get involved, we become the poster child for it, right? Well, the Somali community now is putting the blame on the W folks, right, for the corruption. This woman, Amy Bach, and that $250 million food scam that they was doing, they're blaming her. Check this out.
I want to talk to all the haters that are recycling, that are creating stories out of nothing against the Somali community, especially in Minnesota, starting from Trump all the way down to all his cronies, all his MAGA crazies, those who don't read, those who don't understand, those whose only goal is to hate and create stereotypes. But let me get the record straight. This particular case that they're making it like cases, that they're making it ongoing, that they're talking about a fraud in Minnesota that's out of control, is COVID time fraud, which, yes, did happen, was dealt with accordingly by authorities. It went through the entire process. Everybody who got there, who was caught up in that, was taken care of by the legal framework, by the process, by everything they were supposed to. They are serving their time, they were indicted, and what have you. But even that case, that they're making it like a Somali case, I want to tell you what that case is. The case is now known as Feeding Our Future, is the entity that was basically leading this whole thing. But who's the founder and executive of Feeding Our Future? Is a woman by the name Amy Bach. As one of my friends from Minnesota actually told me originally, that's a German name. And the Germans, just like Somalis, moved to Minnesota en masse, just like Somalis, to do what? To find a better living, to contribute. So, if anything, if you want to blame Somalis, let's go for the executive director of Feeding Our Future, aka Amy Bach, who happens to be a German American, right? Those folks came here not as the first batch of Americans, not as the founding fathers, but they came here mid to late 1800s, some of them well past the 20th century. So basically, if you want to indict an entire community based on an individual or individuals, then you should be consistent and keep that same energy, and then go after the German American community in Minnesota, which, it's much bigger than Somalis, right? Go after them and have them explain why Amy Bach has led and was the ringleader of this massive fraud.
Now, this is almost laughable because, and this show goes to show you just how ignorant a lot of these people are. Now, he's saying that this woman that was at the forefront of this fraud case, Amy Bach, was a German. And the same way the whole Somalian community is being singled out, right? Because of a few douchebags, right? he's saying that the German community should be singled out as well. Because if the Somalis are committing fraud, so are the Germans. As if the Somalis and Germans are equal. And this is where they're delusioned. And when they say, I'm not black, I'm Somalian, and all these things, well, they're letting you know what you are, especially in America. They're letting you know what you are, right? The Germans has had a foothold in this country for a very long time. A lot of things I don't need to go into, but I know that they've been coming here since the 1800s. After World War I and definitely after World War II. They have whole German communities here in Philadelphia and throughout the East Coast corridor. The Germans are very German. At one point, the largest European or Caucasian population in America was of German descent. So the Germans are very powerful in this country. They're not going to go after them the way that they go after you guys. But see, if you was connected to us, you would know that already. But the mere fact that you're on there saying this and putting this out there, it just goes to show you why you're in the position you're in. And why, as FBA, we're sitting this one out. This ain't none of our business. But the thing is, they're constantly putting the blame on everybody but themselves.
This is so sad. Somalians in the United States are taking the blame for this massive cover-up. I've been digging deep and I pieced it together. It's not the Somalian people pulling off the fraud. Nah, it's the United States government who rigged the whole thing to funnel billions of dollars to what Israel just recognized as Somaliland. This is huge because Israel needs a spot to deport the Palestinians. And someone got to foot the bill for that land. And since the United States government is basically run by you, the Israels, we are the ones paying for it all. This land grab for deporting Palestinians, the blame they are pinning on the Somalian community, it's a massive smokescreen. It's way bigger than anyone gets. If you have got questions, hit me up. Share your thoughts on the comment. Thank you.
So now they're coming online and they're blaming Israel and all these other countries for stuff that they're going through, right? Now, I'm not going to get all off into that because there's a lot of things that could be said about that, but they're not the people to be blaming right now when you're caught up in a whole countrywide web of fraud. From East Coast, from the East Coast to the West Coast, man. It's set up, man. I don't know, like it just gets real crazy. Now you want to compare yourself to these Germans. These Germans been in the country for over 100 years. When you talk about the German class, you're talking about the wealthy class. A lot of these Germans that you're talking about up in Minnesota are wealthy people. They're owners of corporations and the structure of Minnesota. You think that you're going to come here, you only been here for X amount of years, you're going to get equality to them? Come on, man. Like, it's the delusion, right? You come here poor, right? You come here poor and living off the government and getting government benefits. They've been here forever and they control a lot of the government. So I don't even know why you even bring them up as if you think the media is going to single them out when the media is connected to a lot of those people, right? But but they wasn't finished. Check it out.
Hi guys, I made a video supporting my Somali brothers and sisters who were called garbage by Donald Trump in the United States. And on that video, some people were commenting fraud. So I decided to look into it. So this is the white lady, as you can see, she's white, who was the founder of Feed the Future, a not-for-profit. She was convicted for about $250 million fraud. She was convicted, right? So this person that you see is the founder of the organization. So this person is not Somali. So the problem in the United States is that when a crime is committed, obviously, and it involves black people or people of color, that whole thing is made to look as if the people of color were the ones that masterminded it. But this is this person who masterminded it and recruited others, right? So next time when you see something, go do your research before you come and start spewing the propaganda, the racist media in the United States. The founder of that thing is this lady here, right?
Now, they're saying that this woman was the ringleader. She was the one spearheading this whole situation, right? And it was just an isolated incident. But if that's true, then there wouldn't be so many other fraud schemes that's so widespread. There's a whole network from AC to KC, Nebraska to Alaska, right? I'm literally from AC to KC, Nebraska to Alaska. They got a whole network, and it has branches in different cities all across America, right? But you're saying that you guys are being singled out. You guys are being singled out because this German woman, Amy Bach, was the one teaching y'all how to do it and masterminding the whole thing. But if that's true, what about this?
Tonight, another man charged in the Feeding Our Future meal fraud case. A man federal prosecutors say played a big role in funneling millions of dollars in taxpayer money out of the country. Lou Raguse has a look at the brand new charges today.
The 74th person to be charged in the $300 million Feeding Our Future meal fraud case, Ahmed Naji Sheikh, is the brother of one of the most notorious defendants, Abdi Aziz Farah, who was recently sentenced to 28 years in prison. Farah was convicted with a group of others of stealing $50 million of taxpayer money. Now his brother Sheikh is accused of helping him launder that money. Text messages between the brothers included in the indictment show $138,000 cash, $270,000 cash, and a money order for $300,000 sent from Farah to Sheikh in Kenya. $1.287 million sent in a matter of days. The indictment says Sheikh helped Farah buy an apartment building and invest in other real estate in Kenya, all with money that was supposed to feed kids during the pandemic. At Farah's sentencing, acting U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson pointed out the government can't get back any of the cash sent to Kenya or the property purchased there, and Farah didn't voluntarily give it back.
The sense I got was he's sorry he got caught.
In addition to Sheikh's charges, the indictment states he lied in his attempts to immigrate to the U.S., claiming he's unmarried in his application for the green card lottery, when in fact he married Farah's sister-in-law 3 years ago so she could sponsor his residency. Lou Raguse, KARE 11 News.
Sheikh is currently in Kenya and not expected to appear in court in Minnesota anytime soon.
So while Amy Bach might have been the ringleader, you got guys like Abdi Aziz Farah. This dude stole like $50 million of his own and was funneling that money back to Africa, back to Kenya to build like apartment buildings and stuff, right? He was taking that money, and the funny thing is that money that they stole, they can't even get it back. His brother locked up, he locked up, but you know he got family over there in Kenya, and they were sending the, people saying, well, the Kenyans was wondering how these Somalians is coming over here with all this money. Well, they was coming over here with the money that they were stealing in Columbus, in Maine, in Minnesota, in Seattle, Washington, in Philadelphia, and all these places where you have Somalian immigrants, like, strongholds. They was sending that money back to Africa to actually build empires for themselves. So they'll go do some time, get out, get deported, and go home and live fat off the hog, right? Because they done defrauded the government. They done stole a bunch of money, man, right? But so while you're blaming her, you're also masterminding yourself and hiring other Somalis to come and push your scam. But it gets worse.
Her name, Asha Hassan. You may remember the name. She was the very first defendant charged with defrauding Minnesota's publicly funded Autism Care program. We were at the U.S. District Courthouse this morning as she entered her guilty plea on a single count of wire fraud.
Hey, we got no comments today.
Asha, anything you want to say? She and her attorneys here would not comment on the case, but I do want to break it down for you. Hassan owned a business here known as Smart Therapy LLC. She pleaded guilty in 2 schemes, not just the Autism Care or EIDBI program, but also she admitted her role in the massive Feeding Our Future child nutrition fraud, in total taking in some $14 million in Medicaid funds, another $450,000 supposedly earmarked to feed hungry children. Prosecutors point out she sent hundreds of thousands of dollars out of this country to Kenya to purchase real estate in her own name.
So, Paul, any idea how many of the charged defendants were involved in multiple schemes like Hassan?
Great question, Kelsey. U.S. Attorney's Office mentioned about 24 or so Feeding Our Future defendants who were also receiving funding for their supposed autism clinics. And that's how these folks like Hassan got caught. In Hassan's case, Her guilty plea includes restitution of nearly $16 million that she owes to the United States government. Lead prosecutor there, Joe Thompson, was asked what the odds are of collecting such a significant amount.
Well, it depends. It's defendant by defendant. We seize assets from many people. If they have money in bank accounts, we're very aggressive in seizing those funds. If they purchase real estate, especially if they purchase it without financing, we're very aggressive in getting that property back, and we can liquidate it and use to pay off. In the Feeding Our Future case, for example, I think we're somewhere between $60 and $70 million that we've recovered. About $30 million of that is cash.
Just some massive numbers being thrown around by Joe Thompson there. Hassan's guilty plea includes a potential prison sentence of about 70 to 87 months, or somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 8 years behind bars. The judge has the ultimate say. He did allow Ms. Hassan to remain free and out of custody until she is formally sentenced.
So you got one guy stealing $50 million. This woman, she stole $14 million. Well, she got $14 million. And she was sending hundreds of thousands of dollars back to Kenya to get real estate in her name. She was already setting up to go back home. You know, they look at this as like a jihad. Like, come here, Somali pirates come here and rob the W, man, get that money and take it back, right? Take it back to their country, right? And that's exactly what they've been doing. So this is the thing. Those W folks in this country, of course, they do a lot of criminality. Of course, America was built off of this. We already know that. I'm an FBA American. You guys study our story. You know what America was built on. You know what they was about. But at the end of the day, you can't blame Amy Bach for what she was doing if you was participating in it as well. You got caught, right? So now you want to put the blame on this white woman and don't take responsibility for your own. All y'all claim to be Muslim, right? The Quran says that you're not supposed to steal, right? Y'all go to the mosque, you know right from wrong, right? But you still decided to do it and partake in that behavior. So now, and then you try to ingratiate yourself over there with the W folks. And now when he showed you what a real black person is, you know, what a black person is and what an N-word is, now all of a sudden you act like you don't understand. Now all of a sudden you want these W folks to actually be held accountable in America. Man, y'all done lost y'all mind, man. Y'all done went crazy. And like I said, this thing is widespread on many different levels, man. Many different levels. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.